Hi, my name is Matthew Mark Hunter. I am in charge of MMH Productions. We have been around since December of 2016, but mostly came through in 2017. Since then, we have over 100 films total, and 2 of those are feature films, and both are anthology horrors. This is an interview about my next mini feature film, Poe's Stories.
Now we're just waiting for Kara. And hopefully she gets her soon.
I can't wait to tell you guys my favorite story.
I chose Poe because I've had the most knowledge of Poe. I read him the most throughout school. I never really heard about many other authors besides R.L. Stine that I would always read. I know at CVCC, Cuyahoga Valley Career Center, I did some super low budget versions of R.L. Stine books, like the Goosebumps series. And me and my crew were talking about doing some more, but only for YouTube only. But yeah, I've had the most connection to Poe throughout my whole school life. The first time I remember reading Poe was freshman year of high school. My English teacher had us read The Telltale Heart and the Raven, and he would do a voiceover for the throughout the whole story. And after he was reading it for us, I just loved how he read it, and once I heard those 2 from him, I just kept reading some more of them. A lot of people say it was the alcohol, he killed himself, or someone did kill him. I think because Poe had a lot of enemies near his end of the time, I think someone might have tried to kill him, get rid of him. So how I think Poe died is someone killed Poe. Yeah, MC Lars. One of the executive producers, he told me to listen to MC Lars when I was doing Poe Stories. He said, "Hey, listen to him, you'll really like some of his music," and he sent me a few of his songs, and they were all Poe songs, songs about Edgar Allan Poe. And I kept listening to Mr. Raven throughout the whole process of making the film. And then I got his email from YouTube. I texted him saying, "Hey, I'm making this Poe story. We're indie film. I'm 19. I love Poe. We're just making a story about. We're making a film about some of his stories. And I've listened to Mr. Raven, and one of my producers mentioned you. I was wondering if I was able to use your song for the movie." He emailed me back saying, "Oh yeah, it's fine. Just let me know if you get any streaming services. But go ahead, use the song." And then I put the song in the credits, and then as soon as he said use it, I listened to Mr. Raven probably 15 times on repeat right after. You could hear it from upstairs, and everyone was like. But yeah, MC Lars is a great person. So my versions of Poe stories were doing the Raven, the Black Cat, the Telltale Heart, and Berenice. For the Raven, Telltale Heart, and the Black Cat all have new endings that weren't in the original Poe book. I rewrote the endings, and I kept the original storyline as it is. For Black Cat, I took out a lot of stuff because I didn't have the tools to burn a house down. All other scenes with the cat, have a monkey. I had to get rid of most of the stuff and keep it more simple for us. But for those 3, I changed the endings. For Berenice, I kept everything the same, except I added a scene that wasn't in the story. And the scene I added is a pretty nasty kind of thing. You're like, what? Ew. But it was cool how it fit in actually perfect with the story, which I'm glad it did. But yeah, those are the 4 stories that we're doing, and we do use real animals besides the cat. We were gonna get a cat, and the Raven, but we didn't. For the Raven, we don't have the budget, so we had a little fake Raven, and then for the cat, we used a little prop cat that we found at Goodwill. Yes. Originally, I just wanted to be one part in the film, so I was Aegeus and Berenice, which is Berenice's cousin, who's also her boyfriend and husband later on. So I played Berenice's husband, because I like how he was a creepy role. I know back like a year or two ago, I did my own version of the Raven, which is me and my cousin, and I was the man. But for this film, I had all the lead characters play the lead character in their story. Like when they were reading the story, they're the narration, but they're also putting themselves in the book because they're reading it. But then I also became a cop for the Black Cat, because last second we didn't have any cops show up. So I was one of the roles as the cops in the Black Cat, but I wore glasses, so hopefully it doesn't look like it's still me. I'm also the voiceover of the Raven. In the Raven, he's just gonna say, "Nevermore!" Like, I'm just doing the voice of the Raven. Yes, there will be a lot of blood in the Black Cat and some in Berenice. There's no blood in the Raven, and there's just a little bit in the Telltale Heart. But the Black Cat is where we used a lot of the blood, where he kills the wife with the axe in the story. And we added the scene at the end that I'm not going to say yet, which also had a lot of blood. And then Berenice, of course, when we're ripping out all her teeth, you'll see a bunch of blood in that one as well. And then there's a little bit of blood with what happens at the very end of the film, which I will not be saying for no spoilers. Yes, of course, Bozo will be in the film, and Phil is in the film as well. Phil is my assistant Chris Wiggins type of Easter egg. He's the alien skeleton. After we used him in Christmas in July, we changed it to Phil. It's on YouTube. But since then we put Phil in the film. So Bozo is in the film. Him and Phil are in the same scene. They're both in Berenice. They're going to be in, like, by my books, by me and Berenice. So that's their only appearance in this one. No. I was going to do the Raven. Then I asked Chris, so Chris, which post story do you like the most? He said Telltale Heart, so I wrote it down. I asked Olivia, who is in the Black Cat, what story would you like? She said Black Cat. We got those three. Reading them over again for the Black Cat was the only one I was thinking, how do we film this the same as Poe wrote it? Raven, I knew that was to be a piece of cake, and I wanted to do it because it's my favorite. Telltale Heart, the part with the floorboards and the heart, we took it out. I don't have access to opening a floorboard for a heart, so we altered that a bit. Black Cat, we took out about half the story just to fit it. Berenice, I didn't even know about, because I was thinking, oh, what fourth story should we do? So I was reading, I was like online looking up other film adaptations of Poe stories and see which ones people have done, and try to see which one would have been easiest to do next. So I came across a few, and I know other ones like Fall of the House of Usher, Pit and the Pendulum, The Cask of Amontillado, but we came up across Berenice because it also worked good for what happens at the very end of the story. But Berenice did win because it worked well for the script at the end, and it was also an easy story to adapt to film. I would have done The Cask of Amontillado. My girlfriend's sister has a sweet basement, and it's like, part of it's like a wine cellar, and it's all brick. So I would have done Cask of Amontillado. I would have bought some bricks and bring some, and everything in the basement was like perfect for it. I would just have to actually put them in the wall. So Cask of Amontillado almost did get made, but a lot of the crew later on was like, let's just do Cask of Amontillado for fun. So we may or may not do Cask of Amontillado on the side. It would be fun to do because I also love that idea of him getting walled up while alive into the brick wall. So yeah, you may see Cask of Amontillado down a few years, but don't get your hopes up. It took me 2020, 19, around maybe 2 years for this finally to get done. I was writing it in 2018 at Cuyahoga Valley Career Center. I had a decent script. I kept creating posters all the time. So when I created the first poster, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do post stories this summer. Never happened. So it took me more time. I had, for the 4 main casts in the film, originally there was 4 different people to be in the film. And then last second I changed them out for these 4. But before there was 4 other people who were supposed to be in this film. I am happy I did change it because I really like the cast we had, and their chemistry worked really well. And a lot of them have come back for other films. But yeah, then during that I had other films I kept filming. We brought out Nightmares Unleashed the same time I was working on Poe, or Poe was right after it. I started writing the script. And then I wrote The Raven and Telltale Heart, and I didn't know about Black Cat or Berenice a while down the road, so I waited to do that. I wrote the Black Cat, and Berenice was added, and then I had I rewrote the whole thing about the storytellers telling the stories. Then it took me a while to get to find a date for the cast so we could all come out. We found the date, we filmed it, and then as time went by we had to find shoots for the next scene because we had to bring the cast back for the stories I told. And even for Audrey, she had she's left for Pennsylvania, so we had to get Berenice done in time for that. So that pushed us back a little bit more because we got hers done real quick. The longest one it took us to do was Black Cat, just to find a date. Finding the date was the hardest thing, and seeing if we get a real cat as well. But luckily we managed to find the date. Right now the film is with the composer. He's composing the track. It should be done by the 22nd, he said earlier. And we also have a poster for Post Stories that has been in the works, which that should be done relatively soon. If it's done in time for the interview, we'll have it held up for it. But yeah, Post Story has been a beast to conquer. Probably the longest production for me to actually film besides Nightmares Unleashed, which is 7 months of filming. But 2 years of just planning, getting the script ready, the cast, the crew, finding the dates. Feature films are harder to plan than short films. I can guarantee that. Short films we usually do in 1 day, boom, done. But it was great to have what we have, a great cast, a great crew, and I hope it all works well and looks good to everyone. For now, it's on hold, just the DVDs, because of all the stuff happening with coronavirus. The library's closed. I can't make DVD disc covers, the discs. The film's done, but I really can't sell it until the library opens up so I can make the things I have to make to actually make the DVDs. After that, it will be, I'm sending it to some film festivals first. It'll probably be at some vendor events. Hopefully the 5th annual Halloween flea market will be open. And that's where I'll be having some post stories, and also it'll be on eBay to purchase for $10 and $3 shipping. Well, besides this, we also finished Krampus 3. That's on DVD. We can't sell those either till the library opens again, but Krampus 3 is complete. I've showed some cast members of the final film, so that's very nice. Krampus 3 is done. At the same time Poe has been shooting, we've been shooting another feature film called Bed Bugs. Our next film shoot is March 29th. And then after that we have one more film shoot for The Blood Throne, and then the film will be in the editing process for I don't even know how long, because it's a long film. But hopefully that will come out in the summer. It should be done by July or August. So that would be good. And then the final film should hopefully come out before Halloween, because it's a Halloween themed movie. Besides that, also in the summer we are filming more scenes for another feature film called Gross, which is about 6 very disgusting short films. More of them are more gross than actually horror. There is some horror elements to some of them, but there's probably 2, maybe 3 only that have some blood. One will have a lot of blood, but then the rest are just like nasty things. We already shot the story Leftovers. The next one we're going to be doing is Audrey the Bee Girl, which is very exciting, and then we're probably going to move on to Infection. There's an eye in my soup, and we're going to finish off with Crappy Cracker and Roached, because we have to find a motel for that one. But that's what's coming out soon. We're also working on Krampus 4 in the summer, which is the origin story. It's going to be our most bloodiest Krampus. And then in January of 2021, we're going out to PA and we're going to shoot Krampus 5, the Snow Beast, which that will be the most bloodiest Krampus film when we start that in 2021. We're getting a place out in PA for the weekend. We're going to shoot Krampus 5. It's going to be totally different because Krampus 5 will have no kids in the film between the last ones. This one's mostly college students in a cabin in the woods, which is like as you see, each film we have a different Krampus, version of Krampus, same actor. I play Krampus, but Krampus 5 will have no lines. For the first time, Krampus will have no lines. The makeup is actually just a mask I'm making, so I'm working on the mask as it is. And then, besides all that, we want to shoot around October Killer Christmas Part 2, which is another feature film, hopefully, which is the sequel to Killer Christmas, which is on YouTube. And then that probably is going to be it that we know of. Of course, we will probably add more films in between, more short films, like we always do. We've reached over 100, so that's great. Woo! But yeah, that's about all we have coming up soon. Yeah, if you guys want to check out more MMH Productions, a lot of our non-film festival films are on YouTube, so a lot of them have copyright music because we're not getting paid for them. So we're just making films left and right. So some aren't the greatest on YouTube, but it's just for us to get more filming done. All our main films have trailers on YouTube. Dark Side Stories, Nightmares Unleashed, Apples 2, Parade Candy, Tales of the Bone, Easter Massacre, and Poe Stories. And Krampus 2 and 3 are also for trailers only. We have some other ones on there. But most of our films are on YouTube. I also have a website. It's at a Wix site, which I'm sure the link will be right here to go check it out. And then that's all we have so far. So make sure you check out some of the videos and stay tuned to see what comes next. Sweet.